everybody, welcome back to another edition of the EcoStruxure Machine Expert training. I'm your host, Leandro Armada, and in this video what we're going to see is how we can make data logging inside of the PLCs programmed in the Machine Expert. So let's go to the software. So what I'm going to do, okay, the first thing that we need to do is to open the tools tree, and in the PLC that we're going to work with, what we need to do is to add the DataLogManager. If you go over here, right click, add object, DataLogManager, where are you, application logger, DataLogManager. Okay, this is the element that we need in order to create this faster. Okay, this is just one way to do it. So we just need to add this. So once we have this, we need to specify or create the logs files that allowed us to save the data in. So if we click on this or right click, add object, we can add the data log, and here is going to be the file name that we're going to have. Okay, so we are going to add this log file name. This is log file is going to be the file name that we're going to have inside the controller if we define the internal flash. Otherwise, we can select the SD card to save the data. So in this kind of data logger that we have, the controller allowed us to enter the data in every entry line, okay, on the CSV file or TXT file, I don't remember, so we're going to check it, which is the file extension. And then what we can do is to add the date and time that we have on our controller in order to have the data, for example, date and time of the variable that we want. Then we need to specify the max number of entries, okay? And you can specify if you want to circular or stop when full. So circular, if we start from 0 to 10,000, okay? You're gonna enter all the data, and when it's circular, it will go to the top. Otherwise, it will fall, okay? Then you can specify the internal buffer size. Okay, so before dumping the information into the file, the PLC has a buffer. So once the buffer with the data is full, then it put the data into the file. Okay, if you want just the information to be directly, you just use the one. And then you have the max characters per entry, okay, that you can have per entry per line. And then you can have the separator in case you want to perform something. You can add the column. So we can compile this and see what do we have. So this is the configuration of the file that you want to have. So there are some function blocks that we can use, but what I have done is to create some kind of template for this. So I'm going to add the template. It's just a project. So import, and I'm going to select this one, DataLog version 1.0, and these are the functions that I had created the previous. So okay, import successfully. So if we go inside the logger, we have this PRG_logger. Okay, so this one basically indicates the blink is just like a generator square signal. So every write streak that we have on that square signal, it will execute the log file. As you can see here, this log file is the one that is connected to the file that I'm going to use. This connection is made by this kind of instance, but the real instance is the name of the file. So if I go back here and I select, for example, Schneider as the name of the file, this name over here should be a Schneider and Schneider. Okay, so here we have two function blocks, okay, log record and log record.dump, that basically is related to the buffer, okay, and dump will put the information into the file. So this log record, what it needs is a W string in order to save the data. So the data that I want, the variable that I want to be saved, needs to be W string. So what I have is this concatenate, W concatenate, and the other thing that I need is a function block to, for example, I believe is 2w string, okay, to save the data in a string format. So for example, I got temp01. I'm going to specify a real variable. Okay, so this real variable that I have, or whatever variable that I have, will be converted into w string. Then if I want another variable, the good idea or the good practice is to separate this data. Okay, so I can use an Excel or another tool using the same separation that I have defined over here in the log file, which is this one. Okay, so here what I can do is to add another one over here, Control C, Control B, and add, for example, art temp 02. It's going to be real. Okay, so you can have this temperature over here. As I am concatenating all the data, what I need to do is to concatenate this variable string into this one again. So Control C, Control B, W variable, WS variable. As you can see, this variable is W string. So here, what I'm doing is to put in the same variable string the information from the temperature 01 and 02 in order to save that into the log file. Okay, so basically it's that. Okay, this will generate file. It will, when we execute this will generate a file in the controller, okay, on the same name as I have in the log file. So this log file, okay, is gonna reach a circular, it's gonna overwrite everything, okay, or you can select stop when full. One solution could be to, you can see it over here in the lower advanced, you have these two function blocks, okay, they are related to a different library, so we need to add it. Let me see if I can add it over here. 2, 3. File. Just wait for it to finish. Which is this library, CAA file. Okay, and inside you have further information about additional function blocks that you can use with this DataLogManager. So here you can see there is no error now. You have this functionality, file.rename, that allows you to rename one file that you have in the software. So what you can do, for example, instead of waiting to this to go to stop or make a circular and overwrite data, what you can do is to rename the file. Okay, so you can specify the old name file that's going to be the log file to a new one. For example, temperature, room, day, blah 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 blah, and it will change the name of the file log file to the one that you have to the one that you have already defined new in here. Okay, and then the next time that you're trying to log the data, okay, using this, it will generate a new file with the log file empty with the new data that you want. So you can have in the controller different data with different names based on this. The question here is, okay, when I can execute this new creation. This new creation can be, for example, when I can read the time of the controller and execute this at the beginning of the day, or we can specify by the size. There is another function block here, get size, so you can check the size of the file that you want. So you can execute this, and for example, when it reach 300 KB, you just rename the file, okay, and it will generate a new one. Okay, so that is one thing that you can do. So what I'm going to do now is to connect with the controller and download this project. So double click over here and hopefully I should be able to connect. and I believe it's LTA. Yes. Okay, it's loading. Just wait for it to finish. So let me just change the view. Okay. Build system stop, now in run. And something that I forget to do, or is a common mistake, this one needs to be called in a task, otherwise it's not going to be executed. So let's go back again, download, let's make an online change. It doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm connected with the controller now. Okay. As you can see over here, the information is gonna be located, if I'm not wrong, in the log file. Okay, so what I need to do is to execute the logger. Okay, so this one is set by 15 seconds. No, I don't want to be like that. Let's say 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, 5 seconds to let's say 1 second. It's too close. Let's define this 2 seconds. So if I define this in 2 seconds, basically, how is the logic? Every 4 seconds, I'm going to have a new data here. So I'm going to enable this. Okay. This will trigger this part, as you can see over here. Okay, to say the data. So I'm going to change the data over here, 33.5 and 34.2. Okay, so there are some changes over there. Okay, and now if we go to the MotionController, here you can see there's some data. They have created that file, log file. Okay, you can see here the data that I have. So if I refresh this, you can see the data is increasing. It makes total sense because every 4 seconds I'm increasing the data. And let's change this to 365.5. Okay, and my controller, there we go, is increasing the data. So one way, I'm going to stop the login, okay, so I can show you what I got. Okay, one way to retrieve the data from the controller would be to create, for example, a file inside your computer, okay, and drag this log file that we have over here to the other side, and you can retrieve the information. So let me just open on my side. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so this is the folder where I have all this. Okay, if I double click this, and I have some data over here. 20 is the date and time. I'm not saving this part, probably my mistake by doing it quickly. I know what is wrong here. Quick rookie mistake, my bad. Here need to be careful in the order execution. Okay, so now let's do it again. You should be able to see the two temperatures now. Login, download. It happened to everyone. So so it's important to have the order execution here. So now this one, I'm going to reduce this to 2 seconds, and let's put this in 11.5, 22.6. Save this information over here. What I'm going to do is to delete this data because it's wrong, it wasn't what I want. I'm going to delete also this one. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is to execute the login. So if I execute this, okay, now in theory you should have the two datas. Okay, as you can see over here, this is the information that I have. It's going to be stored now. The previous what I have done wrong is that I haven't executed by order, so the information is going to be precise. So if I change this to 33.6 and this one to 13.2 and log and move this over here, okay, we should be able to find this variable over there. So I'm going to close this part and open this one now. You can see that I have this, okay, which is information I have already entered before. So now if I refresh and move this over here, select, move. Oh, I have this message over here. Yes, it will update, and if I update and open it again, it will have more information. Okay, the only thing here I need to specify is the time, because I haven't specified with seconds. Okay, but you could specify this with seconds in case you have the login each second right, that I have done. Okay, so let's try to check this get size and rename. Okay, execute. Just in case. Okay, so I can show you how it can works. Okay, so let's just stop the other one. Log files, logger. Going to stop this, so there is no more logging. And here, I want to check which is the actual size. 4.37 kilowatts. So here, get size. Here, as in, is stored inside the controller. Just go directly to this path. Otherwise, you need to specify if it's an SD card like this. So, fine. Open this, execute 447, and it should be like that over here. 7. Yeah, 4478 bytes. Okay. Get size. As you can see over here, it is what I want. So you can check this in order to create a new file. So let me just put this like this and go to the rename. So this is the actual name of the file that I want, and the new one is going to be temperature room, I don't know, day XX. Okay, and then I'm going to rename it. It's done. So if you go to the controller, you can see here we have disappear, and the other one also, because it moves to the root position. So this one is the one that I can move to the other side. Okay, yeah, I believe I need to put something here, the extension, my bad. So if we move this to the other side, yeah, I forgot the extension, txt. You got the data that you had before. Okay, so let's try to do that again. So as you can see in the log, there is nothing. Okay, which is makes sense. Let me just delete this part from here. It's read only. Okay, and refresh. So let's start. So I can show you. So after we change the name, the file has disappeared, which is makes sense. So if I start logging again the data, okay, the file will be created over here with the same as the previous name with the new data, which is totally fine. Okay, but you can see here how it's increasing the information. Now, so if I stop this now, 7, get size 782, 782, 782, which is totally fine. Now, if we rename it, okay, I should change this now with txt. Hopefully it's going to work. So now, there we go. We should change that to a new file, and here is no longer because we changed the name of the file. We go back here, is the txt file, and we can move this now to the other side. And if we go to my laptop, we should be able to see txt with the new data. So this is how you can use this data logger. Okay, there is another way to do it, but probably we'll cover later. We can create a new project, and you have a new library, different library, which is the file handling. What is, for example, just bear with me, CSV file handling. Okay, so you can create the CSV file directly with the data. Probably it's a little more complex than this one, but this is another possibility, okay, to do it. But this is the, what I'll show you here is how to easily create the data login on the controller, and then if you use FTP, you can connect with the controller and download or upload from the controller to your laptop or any PC this information. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.